There's a killer loose in New Braunfels. News segments love to start a show with that tagline as it draws them viewers in. Fear sells and ratings soar when people are sitting at home with their pants soaked in piss and very thought that a killer could be in their home right now at this very moment. Freedom of the press. The problem is it doesn't really encapsulate the entire story. Where's the motivation for the killer to roam down the streets of an old town, rove and rave on the corners while the children play in the waters? What's the justification for someone to take the life of a woman who is waiting for her first date? Who are the victims? All saints? All sinners? I don't like the news very much in that regard. You never know the full story, and if someone makes a movie out of it, it always features the victim in some endearing role. But don't take away any importance from the first line. There is a killer loose in New Braunfels, Texas. This isn't one of those stories where I describe a situation, and in a very predictable twist, I'm the killer, or I'm the cop, or the dumb kid who investigates a spooky old house down the corner and winds up dead. No, I'm going to tell you up front. I'm the one they're referring to. The newest hit in the news waves for all of 15 minutes. This is a different way of doing things because you're going to understand me. You're going to listen to me, and you know deep down inside, you have the option to walk away from my words. You can't stand the idea of laying awake at night, driven mad with curiosity, with fear, with the thought that you were too fucking weak to stomach me. This is your choice, and it will get worse from here. I wasn't bullied or tormented by abusive parents, don't try to victimize me. I was never a victim of any circumstance I couldn't control. I was entitled to circumstance. What I wanted, I received in normal doses. Good schooling, good parents, good toys. But I'm entitled. I'm entitled to everything the world should offer and more. Why? Because I'm special. I'm lucky. I'm stronger than you, smarter than you, and more deceptive than you. I was born at a faster pace than everyone else, and by law of Darwin, I should survive better than the rest of society. There was once a science teacher taught at New Braunfels High School who wouldn't give me the grade I wanted, the honors I deserved, just for sitting in class and listening to his stupid drivel. He thought he was the next stand and deliver kind of guy, with the patronizing, passionate speeches and dispositions. No matter what I said or threatened, he didn't take me seriously. So I knew this kid in 6th grade, and I knew what websites he went to, and what kind of dumb pictures he'd picked up for the whole world to mock and grin and point at. I knew that kid had a bubble surrounding him since he exited the womb. After 6 months of incessant harassing and screaming and tears and threats of leaving him alone on his safe space and blasting his social media to a pile of ash, the kid killed himself with a gun. I made him live stream it so the whole world could watch it, and we could mock his half-blown-off head, and how the remaining stump slumped to the side of the floor, how stupid his half-mouthed gap looked like. And then I made sure that the camera stayed running until a teacher burst into the room, crying and screaming and begging God. He probably still teaches. There's a light out inside of him now, though, like a robot. His dead son haunts his dreams, and I puppeteer that like a Broadway show that never ends. At this point, the movies and film and TV shows would say that I escalate. I disagree. I just get better. There's a lot of hookers buried behind Buc-ee's. At least I think they're all dead hookers. Runaways and minors are now exempt from the clause. I like to go back there when it's that gray area between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., and when a small group of employees are smoking and cleaning and leave that back door unlocked. I think I'll eventually go through that back door. I went to the Alamo Draft House the other day. I paid the bartender a visit, but I didn't watch a movie. It's too expensive to watch movies, but I do know that Draft House isn't very good with security when they take out the trash. And there's just so many boys and girls that wait for the trash to compact and play on their phones and not pay attention. It's just so easy to take their employee like I have and keep her here until she stops sweating and crying and shaking. That's my patronage to you, Draft House. Check your employee records. There's the news again. See, I remember that kid. He's a young lad about the age of 5, but his dad didn't take him. His dad was nowhere near him, like any deadbeat father with a grudge. I took him on a traditional New Brunswick run. Tubing. Except I replaced his tube with a tire tied to his legs, and he went into the Como River with very little fight. The kid is what I like to call sharpening the chops. You have to practice to keep strong. Weak games equal weak muscles. So there's a killer loose in New Braunfels. They caught on when I kidnapped a journalist from San Antonio, covering a puff piece on summer activities. She didn't want to put me in her piece, even though I lived in this city my whole life and knew every crevice of that town. That wasn't what her story was about, she tried to claim as she snapped pictures of couples on kayaks. So into the night she sleeps at her hotel, and I break into her car. She bolts, fleeing downstairs and seeing her broken window. In a moment, she's gone. Into the dark trunk. She tried to apologize, multiple times. Begged for mercy, begged for death eventually. I won't say what did her in. I made sure to switch up the techniques to give the old coroner a headache. Sherlock Holmes is going to have to solve her cause of death at this point. But she was indeed done in. And she was found after 2 days, laying on the bank of the river far from home and far from help. One murder found and the news goes crazy as if they found Jack the Ripper himself. They didn't find anything, but they sure love to report it. My fucking life right there. All my hard work overlooked for sensationalism. I'm not in your house. The story doesn't end that predictably. But I am in your life. I'm the person you walk by when you don't realize it. I'm the monster who makes you afraid to watch the news. I'm the example why people want to ban guns, and I'm the perfect reason why people get guns. I'm your stranger that you warn your kids about. I'm the man who makes you worry for your daughter's safety when she goes out late at night and doesn't come back for her curfew. I don't have horns under my hat or hooves on my feet. There's nothing wrong with me, physically. I'm the guy who wakes up and deserves the whole world as my vehicle for outlet and control. And quite honestly, you ought to be afraid of that.